This is All Hitches, the NoVA football podcast.
Yo, tune in, lock in, it's the All Hitches show. Dash and Dan on the mic, let the NoVA tales flow. From the booth to the field, we hitch up the truth. All Hitches podcast, drop the beat, here's the proof. Dash and Dan in the cut, bringing heat to the game.
This episode is brought to you by Fairfax Football Academy, the best QB training and development in Northern Virginia. Follow on Instagram at Fairfax Football Academy. Tell them Dash and Dan sent you. All right, welcome back to All Hitches, NoVA's #1 football podcast. Coach Mesa, happy introduction to the playoffs, buddy.
Yeah, here we are. Yeah, I mean, we're here, and yeah, I mean, back in the playoffs. Seems like it wasn't that long ago we did the playoffs last year.
Now, man, here we are, round one, getting ready to go, and we're going to do our little spin on it. We got the incomparable Carl J. Frederick of Prep Red Zone, the E. Adam Schefter of NoVA, joining us in just a few minutes. And we're going to break down all of the round one games. You know, we're going to go as far down to the beach, buddy.
Yeah. We'll try to throw in something at the beach. Yeah,
You know why? And you know why we're going to do that? Because we have Adam Schefter here doing it.
Oh, we do? Yeah.
And that man knows all about Virginia football. He is the Prep Red Zone representative of Virginia football, buddy.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. We'll get to that in a few minutes. First things first, though, buddy. We took a break last week. We went to the big battle for the number one seed in West Springfield and Lake Braddock. And this time around, buddy, we are bringing back. They couldn't hold a great thing down too long. Bringing the show back for one more episode for the first. There's so many games.
Yeah, there's 12 games, and then even we'll I mean, if we can, we'll peek in on what's going on in that weird 6-team playoff down there in Virginia Beach.
Yeah, I mean, backed by popular demand, right? Backed by popular demand. People wanted it. People are going to get it. They're going to get the. We're going to cover all 12 games in 6A in Northern Virginia.
Yeah,
and like you said, we're going to dip down to the other two games down to the beach and check those games out if things are getting kind of slow. I doubt things will be slow. I think it's going to be crazy. And joined by none other than Coach Van Acker.
Yeah. We're gonna bring someone on and hopefully bring some other people on moving forward. I don't know what we're gonna do when we're gonna do the next set of games, but no, it'll be exciting. I
mean, yeah, and if this is it, we're gonna go out with a bang. We'll have our guys Levels, Dark Visors joining us. Carl Frederick hasn't told us he'll tell us maybe in a few minutes what game he's gonna be at.
Yeah.
So we don't know all the games everyone's going to be at yet. I know Dark Visors and Levels, they told me yesterday they were still trying to figure out which game they wanted to be at. They were leaning, I think they said they were leaning out west towards maybe the Patriot game, but who knows? Still up for grabs.
And that's a 4-5, right?
It's 4-5.
4-5
and you and I will be at all of them.
We will be.
We'll have the Eli, the editor of the West Springfield Gazette at that game. And like we said, the incomparable Jared Van Acker will be joining us on the show. And nobody knows football across all regions. I mean, am I right?
No, he 100%. I mean, he does his film study. He's like the Ron Jaworski of.
He is the Ron Jaworski, right? I was going to say not Mel Kiper. I was going to say who was the fullback for the Steelers?
Merrill Hodge.
He's the Merrill Hodge. I mean, the man. Because look, you talk about his roots down in Southern Virginia, right? Working his way up to Prince William, to this way.
He's in Loudon.
Loudon.
Yeah.
And the man knows Virginia football probably better than anybody.
Yeah, 100%.
We'll have him and Carl do a arm wrestling match, figure out who knows Virginia football more. So it's gonna be fun stuff. What else is going on in Mesa World? Happy Veterans Day to you.
Yeah.
I know you're proud. You're a proud son of a veteran.
Oh yeah. My dad served, and he currently does work with the VFW, helping people get their benefits after they leave the service. So he finds a way to get them the stuff that they need. So that's what he does with his free time, and he does it for free. He does it through the VFW, and
good stuff. And so hopefully he's relaxing and enjoying his day.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, like I said, we got Carl joining us here in just a couple minutes. And without further ado, my friend, let's get into it. And there's no games of the week anymore, buddy.
No, they're all the games of the week.
They're all games of the week.
Win or go home. Win or go home.
Yeah, win or go home. And like we said, we will have the Adam Schefter Nova joining us, and we'll get started. Let's start off right now, buddy, and let's go out to Lorton. Let's go out to Lorton, and let's head out to Falls Church, South County, a match that a lot of people didn't see coming when the season started.
No, I think it's a really intriguing matchup too, because you have that really high-powered offense in South County and that ground and pound with Falls Church, right? I think probably the big key of that game is for Falls Church to kind of control the football, right? They got to kind of control the time on the clock to keep that.
There he is. Welcome aboard, sir. Perfect timing. Mason's about to break down a little Falls Church, South County. I think Falls Church is the only national team to have a non-district win this year, right? As far as of the right, because Falls Church beat McLean. I don't think anyone else in their district beat anybody else out of the district. Which is kind of I hate to say the usual, but that's how it's been.
Yeah, but Falls Church has gone out of the district. They've won a game, and Elijah Lewis is a load to bring down, and I think that's probably gonna be the big key for them, right? Is just keeping that offense off the field and kind of grinding the clock down. And I think the big key to that is what they saw with AC in South County, right? AC was able to control the football, kind of kept the score relatively low, and we're able to and I think that's a blueprint right there.
It is a contrast in styles, right? With ground and pound, take your time off the clock, and then we've talked to several coaches this year. They didn't see, no one saw faster offense than South County.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's a major. Now I'm going to say this. And this is kind of one of my common sense takeaways of the game here, coming into the game. Is Falls Church better be in good shape, right? They better be in good. Not only because of the reason you just said, but also Falls Church is a relatively small program. They have a lot of guys going both ways.
Yeah.
So it's not just your typical team having to deal with the South County fast-paced offense. It's a team that's really small, and a lot of guys going both ways that has to deal with this offense. That could be a problem.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Carl, what are your thoughts? This is a big match, man.
No, I agree. And I'm happy for the Jaguars making this is their first postseason appearance since 2019, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for them. I got to see them this preseason, and I could tell the energy was different for there. They're walking into a tough sledding. South County is hot offensively. You guys touched on it. They have one of the most dynamic offenses in the region, and Dylan Miller, since taking over early on this year, has been lights out. They have playmakers, and Travion Campbell is one of the best receivers in the state. Thomas Powell is having an outstanding season. So it's going to be a big challenge for Falls Church, but getting to know this crew a little bit, and Elijah Lewis, the star he's become, it's going to be a fun one over in Lorton Friday night.
Yeah, I think so too. I was talking to Van Acker earlier today, and I told him, I said, I love all these games. I love all these games. He's going to be joining us in the show on Friday night. Carl, we mentioned you earlier before you got on here. What do you know where you're going yet on Friday?
I'm literally between Yorktown and South Lakes, or honestly South County, Falls Church. I don't know if you guys had a recommendation, because I haven't been out to Yorktown yet this year. And not only do they have Brady Owens, but they got a bunch of other dudes that I may need to check out. So I'll know by the end of the night where I'm going.
I like all those. You can't go wrong either way. Our guy DMV Fanatic is going to be at the Yorktown game as well.
Oh, nice.
If you end up going there, maybe we'll get you guys kind of tag teaming on the mic for
That'd
some halftime and post game feedback. If you go to this one, I wouldn't be mad at you. This is very intriguing, and to me, it's got upset written all over. I'm not saying I'm calling an upset, not predicting one, but Falls Church will surprise everyone all year long. This one, it screams upset to me.
I was gonna say, recognition wise, WNL Westfield might be a good one to go to. The rematch.
Yeah. I looked at that too. I'm trying to spread out and get everywhere this year, and I've been at Westfield, twice already, and as fun as that matchup is going to be, I think I'm going to do, now you said that, Dash, with this is DMV Fanatics over at Yorktown, I think I am going to do South County Falls Church, because I agree. I think it could be an upset brewing. It's two contrasting styles, and I love it over there. South County has a great time for a football game. So
They do, man. They'll bring out the person on the horse.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Like going to a Seminoles game or something, right? I mean, have a blast. And maybe bring a celebrity deli sandwich, show people in Lorton.
Oh, good plug. Good plug.
The other thing, you bring up, and we'll talk about the other game in a second. But talking about this game, the star-studded affair, right? You mentioned Dylan Miller. Let's not forget about Offensive Player of the Year, gentlemen.
Oh yeah,
Travion Campbell.
Campbell, yeah. This year.
I was talking to my son earlier, and he was asking about some of the receivers in the area, and about guys who had caught some balls. How many balls has this guy caught or that guy caught? And he doesn't know a lot of the young guys now, but I told him about Travion Campbell. I said he caught 19 balls in one game.
He's been incredible.
Yeah.
Now, does he have any offers anywhere? Do we know, or is he signed with anybody?
No, he hasn't signed with anyone. I know a lot of Division II and FCS level schools. He's been making visits there, and he's another kid too with a lot of D2 schools. Season ending, I could see a lot of those schools offering him, but I know schools like Villanova had interest as well, but no offers as of yet. I don't believe.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they'll come pouring in soon. The kid's a stud.
Yeah, they're coming. I mean, wasn't he the Offensive Player of the Year in the
conference? That's what I just said. Yeah. Offensive Player of the Year. Dylan Miller was, I think, second team QB. Dylan Miller's got another year.
Miller's been one of the best quarterbacks in the region since taking over. He's been outstanding. I mean, they had their big win over Lake Braddock a couple weeks ago. That was huge. I mean, they took West Springfield to overtime, and they're within having an actual field goal kicker for that game of possibly winning that game. So they didn't have their regular kicker for that game. But South County's, this is a tough matchup with Falls Church. It's dangerous, but if they get by them, I mean, South County's going to be a tough out.
Yeah, no, I agree. People wondered all along, would that Rock Ridge offense, would it work, coming to the Patriot Conference? I think Kurt Urquist, I think he kind of proved that one.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Right. All right, buddy. Well, moving on, another heavyweight. Now, this one, there's no contrast in styles. They're actually very similar styles for the most part. Madison and Langley, talk about it.
Yeah, so I mean that's gonna be a ground and pound between those two, right? Both teams like to throw the football. Now it is a little bit contrasting, just the fact that Madison has those two big backs, where Langley's gonna kind of hang their hat off Colt Sandberg and his ability to make explosive plays, which I think is gonna be really interesting. I think there's gonna be a lot of weight on his shoulders to try to perform against what we know is a really good, fundamentally sound Madison defense. But we come to talk about it as we got closer to the playoffs, but this is where Madison's built for, right? I mean, they continue to play deep into November, December every year. And I'm curious how Langley defensively is gonna take on that team. Now, we saw early in the year though a very similar type of offense, and Fairfax, they were able to stymie them pretty well. So I think we've seen them play a really run heavy team and be able to kind of match with them physicality for physicality. Yeah,
I mean, the takeaway for me, again, looking at the scores, first of all, is there a hotter team than Langley? I don't know if there is, right?
Nope.
And we know that what Cole Sandberg can do, he's electric.
Yeah.
Right. But the defense, Coach Pottinger's defense is a story of this Langley season, right? It's always easy to say the quarterback. We all love quarterback play. It's fun. I love quarterback play. But Pottinger's defense is a story here. What they did to WNL last week. Now, people want to say WNL, they had this vision of, Coach Ludwig and guys throwing for 85 touchdowns and all that stuff. WNL's been a kind of a run-heavy team this year. This is not the WNL of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And what they shut down WNL, and they bullied them. I don't know. I keep an eye on Langley. Another great game. I'm pumped about these games, Carl.
Yeah, no, Dash. To your point, Langley is one of the hottest teams. I believe they've ripped off 7 wins in a row, and they just went in last week to WNL and beat them 35-7. I think the final was, and I think if I saw the the stat line right, Cole Sandberg at one point was 16 for 16 in passing. He was having a perfect night. They couldn't stop him. And back to Coach Mason's point, their defense has kind of answer the bell here many times this year, regardless of the offense. So yeah, they're hot right now. But Madison, this is custom to them. They just need to get in and then go from there. So they're not dead yet, and they've been playing darn good football. I saw them clean up Oakton 2 weeks ago. So that's a fun matchup in Langley. That that's kind of a pick'em game, if I'm being honest.
I agree.
I think it is too. Now, would there be anything more Madison, though? We're talking about Langley. Langley deserves all the praise, and we're giving him all this praise. We're talking about it. And then we're all breaking this game down come, next week, and Madison just squashed them. Is there anything more Madison than that?
No,
that's such a Madison move. That's such a Madison move.
I feel like, we haven't, because of some of the firepower, they lost some games early on. We talk about the guys who graduated, and Madison, talk about the MWO, the defense leaving, and they've just been kind of a quiet Madison team this year.
I mean, they were right there.
I know,
to beat Braddock and to beat Westfield.
No, that's my point.
I mean,
it's this weird, quiet Madison that no one's talking about, but meanwhile, they could be undefeated.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So, another good game to keep an eye on. I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Now we talk about contrasts and styles. Here we go. The opposite day. It's opposite day. Marshall and Centerville.
I mean, you have those two. You have the high explosive offense with Centerville, right? But although Centerville can do everything, right? They can run, they can pass. But their Achilles heel all year has been the run. I mean, it's been the run all year. They've had some issues stopping the run, but to be fair though, they've played some really quality teams with really quality backs. It's not like they're giving up 100 yards, 200 yards to teams that can't run the football, right? I mean, they're getting run on by what's his name, Lewis from Forest Park, who's obviously been one of the best backs in the area. They've given up yards to Madison, but Madison, they have two gigantic backs. So so I think you need to pump your brakes for a minute before you talk about how their run D being porous. They played some really quality opponents, but that triple option, if you're not ready for it, and they haven't seen it all year. So I think I've talked before about when you're a little undersized or you don't have exactly the numbers that you need. You need to find something that makes it yours, that makes you difficult to prepare for. And so essentially, Centerville has, say they practice 2 hours a day. They have 6 hours to get ready for an offense, and try to simulate that, right? You have to try to simulate that, teach kids how to do what Marshall does, try to teach them to give them a look and get ready to go. And that's really difficult to do. Centerville has a quality coaching staff, and I'm sure they're preparing for it, but it's just hard to simulate that type of offense if your kids don't do it on a regular basis. How often does Shields spend under center? I mean, how much time do they see with the team that's under center? And that's all Marshall does. So it's another thing. We talked a little about Falls Church, South County, but I think the same thing can be said with this game, right? Can Marshall just grind the ball down, first down, second down, third down, first down, second down, third down, first down, second? Can they make it so that way, even if that offense does stay hot, you limit the amount of possessions they have? And it's not necessarily that they're not scoring, but don't give them possession after possession to score the football, right? If you can make it so they only have 3 possessions in the first half, that's a win. That's a win. Even if they score and you only score once, down 2 scores, I think you're still okay. I think this is a really intriguing matchup. But Centerville obviously is my number 2 team coming into the playoffs, right behind Woodbridge. But the flip side for Centerville's defense is that they make really opportune plays. They seem to be at the right place at the right time when they absolutely have to have it. So I'm excited to see this matchup. Yeah, I mean, Cardin Stover, star-studded game again. Conference Player of the Year, obviously, in Will Shields. Is it Pierce Robinson, the linebacker? Yeah, I think it's Pierce Robinson. He's playing really well. I just think this one has the potential. Like you said, if Marshall does everything right, we always compare the old Buffalo Bills, New York Giants 1990 Super Bowl, right? Keep Jim Kelly, keep Thurman Thomas off the field, the old Bill Belichick game plan. If they could do that, then we might have something. Now,
what a lot of people think could happen. I'm not saying I think this, but some people are saying that it could be one of those. If things go awry early, right? It could be Mike Tyson Spinks, because that offense can't fall behind.
Right.
That's the
Right.
problem.
Right.
To your point with that offense, I like it. I think if I was coaching at a school like Marshall, I would run that offense too. I know you would too, Mesa.
Yeah.
I love it. Only issue is when you play a buzzsaw, right? You can't fall behind. So that'll be the $1 million question, watching. Carl,
You can't fall behind it, and you can't lose up front when you have an offense like Marshall does. I remember watching them last year in a game where you're right, they're triple offense. You have to, if you have one error, it's going to hit you. And Centerville has been leaky defensively. Now they are opportunistic, but if they're winning up front early on, and if Marshall's not able to weather the storm, because Centerville's going to be hyped. This is their first outright district title in over 10 years. Their fans, they brought it at Westfield a couple weeks ago. They're going to be rocking there. If Marshall's able to weather the early storm and keep their offense going and keeping Centerville's explosive offense off the field, then they have a chance. Yeah. That's a big if, though.
Yeah, it's a big if, but could be a fun one, though. It's actually, you're right, it's very similar to the Falls Church South County game. The big difference being, right, and I'm not knocking Marshall at all. I love Marshall's offense, is Elijah Lewis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's a quarterback. And he can throw it a little bit, he can run, obviously. That's the X factor. That's the X factor. Sure. So all right. Now, good stuff, man. Good stuff. Moving on. This one could be kind of a sneaky game of the week, I think, if we were ranking them. We're not ranking them, they're all great games. Mount Vernon, Lake Braddock.
I didn't realize that they played each other. They played each other for the last 3 years in the first round. This is the three-time matchup, which is,
That's such a random stat.
Yeah. This was kind of Matthew Moret's coming out party his sophomore year, where it was our first year of the show, and we were like, who is this kid? He had like 160 yards, like 6 catches for like 160 and 2 touchdowns against him. Is Braddock coming in limping into the playoffs a little bit, right? I mean, with the loss to South County, the loss to West Springfield, but I'm sure Doc Staff's going to have them really prepared. On the flip side, if you're Coach Holland, and I know they're not taking this approach, but they really have nothing to lose because no one's expecting anything from them. I mean, let's be honest, right? People are, if there was a betting line, it'd be a double-digit betting line at this point, right? The National hasn't been a Patriot team in a long time. But I think the thing that kind of bodes well for I was gonna say Marshall, for Mount Vernon, is they put up a lot of points against Centerville. Centerville is not a terrible football team. Centerville has some really good athletes, some really good players, really good coaches, and they were able to score upwards of almost 40 points they scored against them. That's somewhere close there. So they've showed that they can have an offense that you've got to keep up with, which, this game could turn into an absolute shootout. Yeah, you talk about Moret, player of the year, obviously in his conference. We saw that one coming. And the guy's an absolute weapon. Yeah. He is the X factor for them. They put him everywhere, all over the field. Our guy Bannister, player of the week for us last week. Great return man, great corner. What I'm seeing here, what I think is going to happen, I don't have my Nostradamus hat on right now, but what I see happening, Braddock does not want to get into a shootout with these guys. No. They do not. They now, Peyton Holmes is gone. To your point, Mesa, as far as being a little banged up. And so why ask why? Ask Rye. They're gonna ask Sam Rye to pound the rock, and Sam Rye is going to get 30 some odd carries. And Ty Jackson's going to get about 15, right? Yeah. And they're going to just try and pound the rock. And they're going to try and do what Patriot teams tend to do to the national teams, right? Yeah. You don't want to get in I'm not going to get in a sprint with you. You're not going to get into a race. No. I'm going to try and bulldoze you. Right. And that's usually how Patriot teams handle the national teams. Yeah.
That's a good. This matchup is interesting. Lake Braddock has to be stewing over those heartbreaking losses to South County and just last week at West Springfield, where they had they had a 2-touchdown lead in that game last week, and if they make one stop defensively, they win the game. So they have to be stewing. So I wonder what Coach Doc's message is this week, because they're still they'll be a double-digit favorite in this. Then if you look at the bracket, they still have a good shot of taking the region for a third time in a row. But it's different vibes with the Peyton Holmes injury. Defensively they've been leaky. Honestly, a lot of the season. So. I agree. I don't think Lake Braddock's going to want to get in a shootout with anybody the way their defense has honestly played recently.
Now, the last time though Mount Vernon saw a Patriot team, it was Robinson, and Robinson took him to the woodshed a little bit, right? So,
to my point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Robinson just pounded the rock.
Yeah.
So, now we know Holland. We love Holland, and
doing a great job.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I don't know if he was Coach of the Year winner over there.
Should have been.
I would imagine he is, or either him or Coogan. One of the two definitely are. I didn't see that list. I saw some of the players. I didn't see the coaches awards. But either way, in our book, we haven't given our awards out. Our awards come out later, and he'll definitely be up there to win that award. So he'll have a game plan ready. Now the guy's got to execute, right? But Coach Holland. The defensive mastermind, he'll have a game plan ready.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go, guys. Here we go. And a rematch, the only rematch. Actually, there's one other rematch. There are two other rematches. Sorry, I'm all over the place. So this is the first of the three rematches that we're going to talk about here. This is the week one. This is the oldest rematch, though. This is the week one rematch. South Lakes, Yorktown.
Yeah, I mean, Yorktown comes in after, and they had a bye week last week, right? So they're a little rested. South Lakes on the other hand has been playing everybody really tough. I mean they played the three teams that finished ahead of them. They played them. I think Madison's the only one that kind of pulled away from them in that game. But Yorktown has got themselves
and Westfield too, and Westfield.
Yeah. Oh, Westfield pulled away. They pulled away at the very no, but Madison pulled away like in the third quarter, if I remember correctly. I think them and Westfield were actually no, you're right. You're right. Never mind. You're right. It was last week. But Yorktown is thinking themselves, we were a field goal away from walking out there with the win. And I think that, Yorktown having the pedigree that they have, they're a constant playoff team, and be able to get a rematch might have been the best thing for them, because now they kind of know what they're seeing across the field from them, right?
Yeah. I mean, look, South Lakes, Yorktown, we thought it was a great game then. I remember watching that game opening night. It was that game.
Yeah.
Centerville Forest Park was one of them. I remember like it was.
Oh my gosh!
I don't remember a whole lot, but I remember week one of this past year. The Battlefield game was going on.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So feels like yesterday. Geez, it's pathetic that I actually remember week one that well. I remember nothing else. But now, and that was a field goal. They drove down, missed the kick. And it was missed, right? Not blocked. I think it was missed. It was missed.
Correct.
So here we go. The rematch. Both teams are playing really well. I think Yorktown's the hotter team coming in, obviously.
Yeah.
Our guy Schneider taking it one day at a time, the way Schneider does. And he has, won. I believe I saw two reports where he and Cole Sandberg were players of the year in that conference. So maybe they were so congrats to Cole Sandberg, congrats to Schneider. So you got Schneider, you got a handful of Coach Hicks. I did see that one. Coach Hicks did win Coach of the Year in that.
And congrats. I mean, that to have to fill in for a Hall of Fame coach, a guy that they'd put a statue next to his name, right? I mean,
right
at the field, right?
I mean, no kidding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this game is, not to downplay South Lakes, but they're hurting a bit. They've lost their last three, whereas Yorktown's been on a roll. I know they had the bye week, but they've won their last three, so it's a different contrast too.
Yeah.
Yorktown's going to be stewing for this game. Not only Snyder's had an excellent year, Jamoris Watts has had an excellent year for them. Brady Owens, the Rutgers commit, I've talked about him, you guys at nauseum. He's been outstanding. They got dudes up front. Chris Lehman is one of their offensive linemen. He's a Division I prospect. Yorktown's big and tough up front. But hats off to South Lakes, the way they came back after last year to make the playoffs. They missed out last year, and they've had some tough luck. They had the heartbreaking loss at the Battlefield, and I believe that was week 3. So the fact that they're in the playoffs now after everything they've been through is a testament to their team. So that should be a fun one Friday night.
Brady Owens, another one. You can't talk about Yorktown without talking about Brady Owens. Who I think was second, runner up for Player of the Year.
Yeah, I said Brady. Did I not?
Maybe, I don't know. And then
that's my
guy. Sorry, you might have. And then South, but South Lakes. Let's not count out South Lakes.
Right. No, it's not to downplay them.
I've loved them all year. We talked about the quarterback at South Lakes. Love watching him play. That guy's so crafty. He finds ways to get the job done. Not the biggest guy, and I love watching him play. That little slot receiver over there at South Lakes.
Yeah.
Been asking people all year to tell me his name, and no one's gotten back to us on his name. That guy's electric. He kind of reminds me of who's the guy from West Potomac last year, Mason?
Maloney.
Reminds me of Maloney. Just watching him with the ball in his hands. They love throwing that quick screen to him. So they're a problem, man. South Lakes is a problem. They've been a problem for everybody all year, like you said earlier, other than maybe Madison and Westfield. These guys should have beaten Battlefield. So don't think Yorktown's taking these guys lightly. Again, rematches are always fun because it becomes even more of a coach's duel.
Yeah.
Right? In the rematch.
Is the receiver you talking about a short little slot receiver?
Yes.
Nick Piccarelli.
Like this guy.
He's a good one.
Yeah, he's dynamite, man. Dynamite kid. Remember Dynamite Kid? Dynamite Kid would go off the rope, jump around, do a flip, and headbutt you.
And the quarterback is Christian Wyatt. Sorry, Christian Wyatt.
Christian Wyatt's been on a tear. Kind of reminds me of a young Richie Gannon, the way he kind of moves around. He just finds ways to get it done. Just finds a way to get it done week in and week out. So yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. This might be the most evenly matched game of the two teams coming in.
Yeah.
So and like we said earlier, I think our guy DMV Fanatic is going to be at this one. He's chomping at the bit to kind of get back to us. So I can't wait to hear what he's got to say about it. All right, man. Well, we move on to another rematch. Let's get into this is the rematch time, guys. This is a rematch segment. Okay. This was a freaking heavyweight fight, body blow for body blow, AC and Fairfax.
Yeah, this was a game that I think they played the first half in something like 45 minutes or something like that. So, I mean, this game may be over pretty quickly. Not because it's a blow, it's because you have two teams that kind of run the football. I mean, we talk about teams that are kind of coming in on a bad streak. I mean, I know Fairfax had a win against Woodson last week, but they got handled 2 weeks by two of the top teams in Braddock and in West Springfield. But I mean, this is going to be an old school, like line it up and run it at each other, right? I mean, this is going to be if you like the run game, this is a game for you.
Yeah, I mean, Duarte doing his thing. Carl, the AC quarterback. You're so good with names, Carl, and I'm terrible with names.
Alpha Jallo.
Yeah, I love Jallo.
He's had a great year.
Right, been a force all year between him and Duarte. Pick your poison, right? Who are you going to stop? And it's worked all year. Week in and week out, we get to the games, we break that game down, and we're like, okay, well, this team's going to shut down the run because you know what they're going to do. AC doesn't care. They don't care if you know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
They're still going to do it, and they're still going to do it well. And they've done it well all year. Now, Fairfax, it's a different animal there. I mean, that defense, they hung around on that D all year. Like you said, Mason, they've kind of slipped a little bit. But they still got the heart and soul of that D. Anthony Murad, right? The Siragusa of NoVA, right? Kid's an animal, tough to stop. And then the guy, Defensive Player of the Year in Patriot. That he was banged up earlier in the season, but Tolson.
Davin Tolson. Congrats to him. Well deserved.
Yeah. So Fairfax is going to hang their hat on what they've done all year. That defense. That's the story of this game is going to be Fairfax D versus the AC offense.
Yeah.
Fairfax is, not to cut you off, Coach, but they've implemented some new running backs too. It looks like Darren Caesar is taking over the carries. He's having a nice senior season along with Jay Sean Payne. So I'm looking at their game against Wilson. They both rushed for over 120 yards last week against Woodson. So we'll see if they get that going. I mean, yeah, I think this game's going to be done in about an hour and a half, though.
Yeah. Is our guy the Maltese Falcon? Maybe he's banged up a little bit. I know he's fought some injuries here and there.
I know he's playing a lot of defense, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he was all conference defense. I think I saw that. But yeah, it looks like they've gone a different direction at running back.
I mean, look, it's a nice luxury, right? If you have that many backs,
right?
It's a nice luxury to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
And don't sleep on our guy Baker Penn Mayfield
Morris.
Baker Penn Morris. Baker Morris has had a great season all year long, and he adds a little bit of complementary legs to that running offense.
Yeah.
So, another good one. Well, let's keep going with the rematches, guys. Rematches, they're not stopping. All right, they're not stopping. W&L, Westfield, one of the games of the year when they played earlier.
Yeah, I mean, yep. I think you're going to have a Westfield team that is, feels that, they had that game in hand. W&L also on a 2-game losing streak coming in this game. I mean, I think it's kind of another reoccurring thing, right? Where they're not coming in the playoffs, with the momentum that they had early on in the year. I mean, you could argue that the peak of their regular season was that win over Westfield, because they end up losing in a rivalry district matchup. So I mean, sometimes you have to take that with a grain of salt with Yorktown, but then come back the next week and just unfortunately in a big loss to Langley.
Yeah, I mean W&L, that game. I remember talking to Voss, after that game, months ago, 2 months ago, whenever it was a long time ago now. Yeah. And the takeaway then, it was relatively early in the season, if I'm not mistaken. And the W&L running back.
Yeah.
Running back.
Braden Black.
Now he was banged up after that. He got banged up for a little while after that. And that's they kind of hit a little rough patch when he was banged up. But he's just, such a tough guy to tackle. And I think we're going to see a heavy dose. I think it's going to be one of those games, guys. It's going to be a heavy dose of they're going to say, look, it worked last time. Let's do it again. Let's pound Braden Black right down their throats. And we know what Westfield's going to do, right? I mean, they got Malachi Lee. They got the running game, obviously. They can throw with Carlson.
Yeah.
They kind of mix it up a little bit. So this game,
PJ Sutherland's had a nice year for them at running back too, for Westfield.
Yeah. Now the story of this game, if you remember last time, what helped Westfield a lot in this game was remember that pick? It was the Flamer.
Oh, that's
Flamer
right.
had that early. I think it was a pick 6. I'm not remember.
Yeah.
Again, my memory that I can remember things like this, but I can't remember real life family events and that kind of stuff. But Flamer had that big pick 6. I think it was like the first play of the game, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yeah, you are right.
Right?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And without that, W&L might have gone on to win, handily.
Yeah.
So again, I love a good rematch. And you talk about great coaches here. You talk about Shapiro and Ludwig and their defensive coaches over there at W&L. And then now you're talking about obviously Vossler and all those guys over there, right? The brain trust of Hall of Fame, the plethora of Hall of Fame coaches that they have on that Westfield coaching staff, right?
Yeah. The other thing I'm looking for is how because I know that when we had talked to the Westfield staff, they talked about how well the W&L special teams played all year.
Good call.
Yeah. So
yeah. Good call, Mason. Actually, there people said that special teams won that game when they played last year, early in the season.
Yeah.
And so keep an eye on special teams. The special teams do it again.
Yeah.
And you bring up a good point. I don't know who it was. It's probably a lot of guys, but I remember one coach in particular talking about this years ago. This is what now special team. You might have get away with special teams errors during the regular season, right? Here and there, not practicing it enough. Some miscues here and there. You do that in the playoffs, you're done. You're not going to last.
No. Yeah. No. 100%. Yeah. I mean, and that could be, especially when you're talking about tight games, right? I mean, that could be a key part of the game is a special teams error, right?
Right. All right, but the last game. Go ahead, go ahead, Carl.
No, I was gonna end with this for this game. WNL has not played well these last couple of weeks. They need to regroup. This is a team and a fan base that had big time aspirations, and they chirped us a good bit. So they better come ready to go here at Westfield, because Westfield's going to be rocking Friday night.
Yeah, Carl, you bring up a good point. I mean, they we're talking about stock up, stock down, that kind of stuff. I mean, it is what it is. The win column and the loss column determines that. And WNL has kind of hit a they've hit a rough patch.
Yep,
Yeah.
For sure. But if anyone, look, Shapiro, Ludwig, Coach Thompson, they got guys over there. If anyone can get them out of that rough patch, they got the coaches to do it.
Yeah.
agreed.
All right, and last game of the Fairfax, Arlington, Alexandria kind of part of town. Big one here, guys. Another rematch. the final rematch in this segment. West Potomac, West Springfield.
Yeah, I think, but West Springfield is coming out on such a high right now. I mean, it's going to take a pretty good effort for West Potomac to pull this off. Now, West Potomac's played a lot of teams tough, but West Springfield just looks so good right now.
Look, don't sleep on West Potomac. We've said this before. I'm old enough to remember just a couple years ago, Tony Rojas Fairfax team that was a machine. Whatever they hit, they destroyed, kind of like Drago. And here came spunky West Potomac and pulled off a huge upset in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I remember just a couple of years ago, a highly ranked South, I think it was a 2-seed South County team, came within like a yard
Yeah.
of losing to, again, a 7-seed Westpo team.
Yeah.
Do not sleep on Coach Louisville, and Westpo will have his guys ready to go. They got talent. They got weapons. Now, but the story is the 1-seed West Springfield. Scotty Lewis looking like, talk about Rich Gannon. He's looking like 2002 Rich Gannon. Talk about
That moxie.
league MVP Richie
moxie,
Gannon. They got 2002 Charlie Garner. Keep it a NoVA theme, buddy. They got 2002 Charlie Garner in our guy Dylan Wickham, who was all district running back. Dylan Wickham, right? Quarterback conference player of the year. Quarterback Scotty Lewis, like we said. You got Bello, you got Javon Austin. This team this team's loaded. Coach Parker and company. Fun team to watch, man. And Carl, you were at the end of the game last week. I got to meet Wickham after the game. No wonder he's so tough to tackle.
He's a big stud out of Texas that not only is he huge, but he also can fly. I believe he runs a 10.8 100. I'm curious to see what his 40 would be. But in that game last week, and it didn't look like it, but he had, because I thought Lake Braddock in the second half did a good job on him. He had 242 rushing yards in that game.
Yes.
Wow. I didn't realize that until after, because it looked like they had kind of slowed him down. And remember, Lake Braddock got up by 2 scores.
Yeah.
But Wickham, he passes the eye test. I'm so happy for the way Scotty Lewis has developed this year since taking over as a starter. Their offense is humming along. You got Evan Shorters having a nice senior year. Javon Austin, who had two touchdown catches in that game last week. I think you got the first one.
I did.
Yeah.
Good too. Right place.
Yeah.
Even an idiot like me who has no photography skills. Right place at the right time.
You nailed that one. And then, defensively, they do a nice job there too. Heredia does a great job on the back end. Their secondary, Brandon Teffler, I swear averages like 15 tackles a game. He's an all-conference linebacker, and they're so stout up front. Aeon Mercer is an all-conference lineman on both sides of the ball. Micah Corley is another stud up front. So West Springfield is humming.
Yeah. Again, another fun one. Just because it's a rematch, and rematches are always kind of the wild card. But so can't wait. And that wraps up the 8 games up north. But we're going to go west, young men. We're going to go west, and we're going to start things off Colonial Forge, Garfield.
So Garfield was able to get in, even with the loss to Woodbridge, even though there was people out there who said, oh, no. If they lose, they're out. I'm sorry. I just
Well, they snuck in there as an H. They snuck in there.
No, but remember someone, there was a publication out there that,
Yes.
made a proclamation that said if they lost, they were out according to the PowerPoints. And
Yeah, that Prince William Facebook page will say some crazy things sometimes.
but Colonial Forge is according to the metrics. So according to the other sites out there, like the Rivals and everything else, they have Colonial Forge as the third best team right now, behind Oscar Smith and Thomas Dale. Is that the other one I'm thinking of? Who's the other team who's the 2 seed out there?
Dale has the other buy over there. Yeah.
So I think that they have them below. I think they have Colonial Forge below those 2 teams.
That's high praise.
Yeah, but I've been with them for the last 2 years. I wouldn't bet against Garfield. I wouldn't bet against Troy Hamlin. He's electric quarterback. The running back, good old Quack back there. He's another one who can go. And then with LJ Richards. So, I wouldn't count them out. Do I think it's going to be uphill battle? Absolutely. I think it's going to be an uphill battle. But I think this is Garfield's, again, another team that nobody's expecting them to win. I mean, let's call it what it is, right? I mean, everyone's kind of counting them out. People thought they weren't going to make the playoffs. But I think they have enough playmakers back there that they were really close to being Patriot a few weeks ago. They had them beat I think this could be a pretty interesting matchup. It's going to be an uphill battle, but I think they have the playmakers to do it.
I'm with you. I mean, look, I know I wasn't the Garfield's #1 fan all year long. And I don't mean that in a bad way. People said I always overlooked them in doing our rankings and stuff. But at the end of the day, they got studs all over the place. At the end of the day, they played tough with Woodbridge, like you said. They played tough there with all their tough opponents. They were there. Now, teams pulled away from them. Eventually some of the better teams pulled away from them. But if they, look, talk about weather, by the way. It's going to be a nice night, nice crisp, no wind. Probably about
it's like 60 degrees on Friday, isn't it?
High of 60, and the low is 36. Do the math. Probably when it comes around 9 o'clock at night, 7, 8, 9 o'clock at night, you're probably looking like in the mid 40s, which is fine with no wind. So that's a nice football night. So weather will not be a factor in week 1 of the playoffs. We'll see. I mean, let's see what happens here. I'm with you. I think if you got what's the old saying? You got a quarterback, you got a punch, you got a chance.
Yeah.
They got a quarterback, so let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Carl.
Did I freeze? I didn't freeze.
Thoughts on this one? I know you are Mr. Prince William, buddy. What do you got?
Well, it was funny because I did see that same post that Garfield, if they lost, they weren't going to get in, but they didn't take in the fact that Garfield had quality wins over common opponents in Forest Park and Colgan. That's what helped them. It was literally like within a fraction point, them or Brook Point for that final spot in that region to get the playoff spot. So I was happy to see Garfield get in for the second year in a row for Coach Edmonds. Shout out to him. He's a great coach and he's doing a great job out there. And yeah, they're going to be massive underdogs. This is probably like if you're a gambler, this is probably like a 2 to 3 touchdown spread if you're looking at it. And Coach Edmonds, and he knows that, and he's going to have them fired up and ready to go for this one. They're going into one of the best teams in the state, in Colonial Forge, who has really been humming all year round. They had that setback against Riverbend, their longtime rival, but other than that, nobody's really, except for North Stafford, giving them much of a fight. So I wouldn't be surprised if Garfield comes out guns blazing in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I think a lot of fireworks in this one. There's too much electricity on both sides of the field. I think you're going to see fireworks big time. All right, in what some are saying might be the game of the week out there in Prince William, Woodbridge Patriot.
So I think going back to what we're talking about with Garfield, we saw Patriots talk with Garfield, and Woodbridge has been my #1 team all year. I mean, but now kind of rubber hits the road, right? Patriot went on a run last year. That Patriot team actually went on a run and got to a region final. They lost to Colonial Forge, I believe, right in the region final.
Yep.
But Garfield's loaded. I mean, with the receiver.
Oh, Vinny Hill. He came from Gainesville. Vinny Hill.
Vinny Hill came from Gainesville. Okay, Gainesville.
Say you weren't wrong.
Yeah, Vinny Hill's been incredible.
But Woodbridge has their sights set on something big. Patriot struggled a little bit with Garfield, and they struggled a little bit with Gainesville last week, right? So you can see they've got a quarterback last year who at this time was in middle school. right? With the team that's loaded. And one thing I do want to shout out to Woodbridge is they lost Denari Hill. They lost, a guy who had a Power Five offer, if I'm not mistaken, right? Did a Syracuse offer him,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So
he
they
does.
lost they lost a huge, and to be able to put themselves in this position is really big. But it should be a pretty good game. But I could see Woodbridge just pulling away from this thing.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'll put it this way. I think it's a great matchup. It's the story of the game. Patriot defense, they hang their hat on that defense, right? Versus the Woodbridge offense. Okay, that's the matchup to keep an eye on. Now you got Patriots offense. They pound the rock, right? Running backs play great. Is it Jameer Brown?
Yep. Jameer Brown's
played great.
taking over.
He's a stud. We gave him Player of the Week a couple weeks ago. Now it was the Osborne game. He actually put them on his back for the Osborne win.
They don't beat Osborne if they don't have Jameer Brown.
Right. Now I'll say this about and the young freshman quarterback has played outstanding all year. More of a game manager. Nothing wrong with that. Carl, you and I were talking about this last week. Nothing wrong with being a game manager when you're a friggin' freshman of a playoff team. Nothing wrong with that. At times, even a game manager is going to have to step up and win games for you. It's not this terrible label that people want to give it. Now, if you're a game manager of a bad team, that's different. If you're game managing a good team, that means you're doing something right. Now, like Bill Parcells said, remember that years ago, I forgot who he was talking about. He said, might need to take off the Pampers, right? At some point, the freshman QB now, the Pampers got to come off, and you might need to step up and not just game manage, but you might need to lead this team to a win. And if anyone can do it, he can do it. He's a stud, and sky's the limit for the young kid. But at some point, you're playing against one of the top teams, and Woodbridge is definitely one of the top teams. I don't care what the 4-5. This is a 4-5 matchup, right?
That's wild.
That means nothing to me.
I know.
They're as good as a 1 seed in reality. So, and I think if anyone can do it, the young quarterback can do it. Okay, but if you're looking at which way do you go? Like you said, if you're going to the old MGM of Prince William, where are you going to go? You'd probably look at it and say, okay, wait, which team has the quarterback? Not the up and coming. Who has the one that's up and come already? And who's the one that's won the award for Player of the Year and all that stuff? That's Caleb Tucker, right? Congrats to him. He's had a great season. And I think Woodbridge obviously is going to lean, the favorites on this one.
Yeah, Woodbridge is going to spread it out too. I mean, Caleb Tucker, and back to Coach Mace's point, him stepping in this year for Denari Hill, who not only is a Power 4 prospect, you guys saw him a couple weeks ago playing for St. Francis. That's how special that kid is. And Caleb Tucker to step in and finally get his moment is really, really something. I mean, I think at one point his stat numbers were like 25 touchdowns and 2 interceptions on the year. And they have one loss to North Stafford, who's talk about teams that can have a legit shot to win it all, was in overtime. That was their only blemish this year.
They're a bobbled snap away from beating that team.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so Woodbridge has been humming all year. They've lived up to the hype that they've built themselves and then some. But Patriot, they ride on that defense. You guys know that too, and they know about all the hype that Woodbridge has had all year. So Matt Canoe and Braylon Addy and those guys, Davion Grant, they got to be licking their chops for this one to go up against this explosive offense.
Yeah. I mean, again, a top-notch defense versus a top-notch offense. You got a stud linebacker, right?
Although
Penn State versus a stud quarterback. This is going to be fun.
Although I really like Woodbridge. The physicality of Woodbridge's defense on the back end, they are they are really good. I think it gets overlooked because of the points they score at Woodbridge, but on that back end of that defense, they are not playing around. I would use another word, but I'm going to keep it PG. But they are not playing around back there.
Well, the interesting thing there is going to be, and I think this is where they become opportunistic too with the hits and the big plays, is they're going to put the other offense in a spot where they got to start doing stuff they don't want to do to keep up with their offense.
Right.
And this could be one of those where, now you got to put the freshman QB in a lot of situations. If Woodbridge's offense does what they do, you're going to put the young quarterback in a lot of situations that Petty doesn't want him to be in. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't want my young quarterback having it repeatedly 3rd and long, down 7-0, down 14-0, down 21-0. So the Patriot D's got to step up, even more than they normally would.
Yeah.
And shout out to Mallory, though. I mean, he hasn't lost a start yet this year.
I don't think he has.
The freshman quarterback for.
No, yeah.
So yeah. He has. While he's been a game manager, the guy's also managed to win a lot of games as a freshman. So that's.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not a negative game. He's been managing to win games, right?
Right.
No, I'm with you. And someone's gonna take that negatively. Obviously, that's what people do. I like to be the game manager of a winning team. All right, moving on. Again, the endless amount of good games over in Prince William. Battlefield Forest Park. I like this one too.
So I think Battlefield has lost one game all year. They've lost one, and everyone's kind of writing them off. Now, they're in the part of the year that they have, I guess. Oh, maybe not. I mean, they ran to the Freedom teams, and then last year Kellen O'Shea got hurt. But this is where they've had undefeated regular seasons. They have district titles. They're just trying to get that region title, and I feel like I honestly feel like maybe this year might be the easier path for them this year because there's not the pressure of the undefeated streak, right? The district title, the beating everybody up every week. They've actually had some hiccups along the way, and with the loss, I think maybe this might be the most pressureless year that they've had on this year because no one's expecting them to win it, right? Everyone's talking about Woodbridge, everyone's talking about Colonial Forge, everyone's talking about North Stafford. They've lost one game.
Right.
They've lost one game all year, and everyone talks about much like Madison in Region D, like they're dead. And
I was about to use the Madison comp. They're the Madison of out here.
Yeah. So I think maybe this might be the most pressureless postseason they may have had in a long time.
Yeah, look, they got studs everywhere. They're still a force. I think they actually throw the ball a little more now than they used to. That makes them a little more dangerous, a little more diverse of a team.
Yeah.
We'll see. But Forest Park, man, they've been fun to watch all year with our guy Lewis in running back. He's been a stud. The coach, coach over at Forest Park.
Coach Benson, right?
Coach Benson, the young phenom coming in there, get everyone pumped up and excited. They've done a great. They've been fun to watch all year.
Shout out to Coach Benson getting them back in the playoffs after they came into this year. As a pretty young team, Forest Park graduated a lot of studs from last year's team that did make the playoffs. So Benson comes in his first year, which maybe they thought Forest Park would go through a little bit of a rebuild, but no, he gets them in the playoffs in year one. Kellen Lewis has rushed for over 1,000 yards, and he's missed a couple of games too, which is even more impressive when you think about it. But they also have Colin Swift on the outside, Antonio Jones defensively. They got some studs, so they're not just going to roll over. I mean, Forest Park doesn't just want to be at the dance; they want to be at the table. But
and Carl, the other thing is very much like Battlefield, who's become more of a diverse offense. Forest Park with the young quarterback, he's been throwing the ball well too.
That's Nathan Song, right?
Yeah, Song.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to them. They look like a different team. I mean, they went toe to toe with Lake Braddock earlier this year. So that they don't just want to be there. They want to see at the table. But at the same time, Battlefield, I completely agree, and I'm guilty as charged. I've kind of overlooked them since I saw them week one in a game they absolutely stole from North Stafford. I've kind of overlooked them, and maybe they're taking that as a slight, how people were overlooking them, and they're using this as extra motivation because they're still really stout defensively. Noah Glover, Luke Hatfield has stepped up and played both ends. What we got Brandon Murray, the Rutgers commit on the outside. They're still a tough team defensively and offensively. When they get that ground game going with whether it's Jaden Blackstock, Tyler Brown mixing him in, they could still be lethal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun one. Two teams that run the ball well, right? Something's got to give. Something's got to give. And what passing offense has a better day? That could be the answer.
Yeah.
All right, and final game out in Prince William. Little loud in flavor though. With North Stafford and neither one's in Prince William actually, which is funny. I mentioned the Prince William bracket, but neither of these teams are Prince William. North Stafford, and you got Loudon representing with Independence.
Yeah, so Independence the first year in 6A and made the playoffs in there. But North Stafford is another team that it's gonna be a pretty big climb for them, right? Independence kind of struggled against the top teams in their district, and now you have a North Stafford team that's just loaded.
Yeah, I mean the offense though, we've talked about it all year. The Independence offense, Mickey Thompson making his return to coaching, right? After a no year, I guess 1 year layoff.
1 year, yeah.
Layoff. And
Yeah.
running the offense over there. And it's always like you said earlier, Mason, that's a tough offense to stop. Any of these kind of crazy offenses that you don't see very often, and then you got 3 or 4 days to prepare for. That's a tough thing to do.
Yeah.
Independence, they have Nick Nassib, their longtime starting quarterback, is having an excellent senior year, and that makes sense. I forgot Coach Thompson had taken over there too. Like the development and the improvement that Nassib has had this year at quarterback has been very impressive. But they, Independence, shout out to them for sneaking in the playoffs in the first year in this tough region, in this tough class. But North Stafford, guys, they have 3 losses this year, I think by a combined like 8 points total. They just lost to Riverbend by a score last week, who is the top seed in Class 5. They had Colonial Forge and Battlefield both beat with dropped interceptions. I saw the Battlefield game live. I called in the show. Like they had Battlefield beat. They were the better team. Yeah, they dropped an interception that one. They had a drop pick that would have ended the Colonial Forge game. So North Stafford has about 30 kids, and they're all studs.
Wow,
That always helps.
it's going to be they're the heavy favorites in that one, obviously. And without looking at it, I don't have it in front of me. Is the winner of that game playing the Woodbridge winner?
What seeding are they?
3 and 6.
So the winner of that one, it would play the winner of 2-7.
Of the 2-7, so the Battlefield Forest Park game. Okay. So yeah, either way.
I got to jump.
So Woodbridge might get Colonial Forge in the second round.
Woo, man.
Yeah.
Get ready.
All right, fellas. I got to jump on a work call here, but it's been fun as always, guys.
Hey, as always, and we'll see you Friday night on the show.
Heck yeah.
All right.
Looking forward to it, guys.
All right. Thanks,
See you
Carl.
soon.
All right. There he is, the incomparable one, the Adam Schefter of NoVA, Carl Frederick. Always great having him on the show. We'll get him, off of here. See Carl on Friday night. Hopefully he ends up going to what was the other game he said he wanted to go to? With DMV Fanatic going to Yorktown, South Lakes.
South County Falls Church.
South County Falls. Hopefully he does that, and he takes a celebrity sandwich with him to go, or maybe some donuts from Texas Donuts.
Texas Donuts. Yeah.
He's in Norton. You got to hit up Texas Donuts. All right. Well, we're gonna go down south for a little bit. Now we were gonna have the great Matt Hatfield. We're gonna have him later on when we can kind of see the final 2 teams out there to kind of break down 2 teams instead of poor Hatfield having to break down 4 teams for us. But we kind of talk about it. Oscar Smith has the bye, the returning champs, right? Thomas Dale, the other team with the bye, and those are kind of the 2 unanimous.
Before we get into it, I think both of us did talk about the fact that there are only 9 teams down there, and they decided to only take 6 into their playoffs. So that means the first 2 teams get a first round bye.
I like it. You got to stretch out a little bit. You got to go to the games. You got to be put your tuxedo on, watch your opponent in the front row. I kind of like it. I like it. Get rested. Get your strength back. So Dale and Oscar Smith with the buys, and so we got Bird and versus Western Branch, LC Bird versus Western Branch. You and I looked at this, and no rematches here.
No rematches. In fact, I think didn't I say like a few of them didn't play any only played 1 6A team? Well,
I forgot which team it was. It's surrounded by all 5A teams.
Actually, let me see if I have that on.
So that's kind of interesting. So Western Branch playing LC Bird, and then Manchester playing Lansdowne. So those are the 2 matchups out there. Obviously, we're not going to pretend to rattle off. We're not fakers. We're not pretenders. We're not going to go act like we know a lot about these teams. We literally do not watch them play.
Yeah.
All the other teams we've mentioned, we actually literally do watch them play every Friday night.
Yeah.
At least hopping around the dial back and forth. So Now, these two matchups, though, if things are kind of slow, we might peek in if they're on the feed come Friday night. We know that Coach Van Acker is going to have a keen interest because he watches all games.
He does.
He watches 1A all the way to 6.
Yeah. He's
anything.
He's like a sports bar, right? He's probably got every game on all at once.
Oh, he does. He's got just surrounded by freaking games.
It's like that scene in The Matrix where they go into the where he breaks into the final and the guy has all the TVs right there.
Yes. Also want to talk about one left of the local academies, right? LSA is playing. We were just looking at it, you and I, and LSA is playing Friendship Collegiate, which is a tough game. DC Friendship Collegiate. So that is the last game for the Loudon Sports Academy.
All right.
So that'll be kind of something, keep an eye on, see how they do there. They had a great inaugural season as well. The one other thing, I spoke, and I'm kind of break news a little bit here, sort of, kind of, but I'm not going to give away much. Spoke to Coach Overton last night, and he said, "Hey, let's start pushing this Senior Bowl."
Well,
so he said, "Let's get together and start pushing this and start getting some of these invites out and all that kind of stuff." So making kind of the what do they call the soft opening?
Soft opening.
This would be kind of a soft opening here.
Yeah.
Start thinking ahead. Seniors, right? Well, even if you're out of the playoffs, doesn't matter, right? Start thinking about, if that's something that you might want to do, or that kind of thing. Coaches are going to be needed too.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to do state of Virginia, which I think is impressive. So you might be getting, now obviously not everyone's going to be able to come drive 3, 4, 5 hours or whatever, but he wants to be all encompassing here, and he wants to have representation from all over. So I know. And he told me specifically he wanted some, NoVA representation. So, coaches we've talked to a couple.
Mm-hmm.
A couple coaches locally have said that they would be down to do that. So, and it could be everything from position coaches to, play callers to head coaches.
Right. And there's no recruiting because those kids are all seniors.
Right. It's fun.
Yeah.
And leave the egos at the door. It's all about fun. I think about the conference of the Pro Bowl, right?
Right.
You're having a good time.
Yeah.
We're having fun. Shaking hands, kissing babies, all that stuff, right?
Right.
So there's a little soft intro, a little soft breaking news there. Well, buddy, fun times ahead, man. Can't wait for this Friday night.
Here we go.
One last episode. Now you say one last, you never know what's in the future. But as of right now, you and I are declaring this is probably
can you declare probably? I don't know if you can declare probably.
We're going to go ahead and do it. We've been groundbreaking all year.
Yeah.
So we're going to say it right now. More than likely, declaring a thumb war. We're declaring a thumb war. This is probably our last hurrah on the big screen. With so many games, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then next week with 4 games, people can flip back and forth themselves.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, with 12 games, we got your back.
Yeah.
With 6 games, you're on your own. We'll be at a game, but we might see if we can get our pregame going.
Oh, yeah.
And don't forget, the turkey legs they're getting smoked right now, buddy.
Slow roasting.
You know it. Coach Walrath is getting ready with the slow roaster or the slow smoker, whatever. I don't know anything about this stuff. But he's getting it all ready.
Yep.
So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right. Well, from Dash and Dan, we'll see you on Friday night on All Hitches. See you.